studied at university together. We started in the same place. We both started doing a BA Dramatic Art at Wits. First 2 years we were on the same path. And then I specialized in theatrical design and choreography, and Stu went the playwriting and acting route. And then when we graduated, I went into theatre and Stuart went into advertising. And so I'm sharing that story with you because you never really know where you're going to end up. I mean, I don't think either of us realized we were going to end up in the careers that we are in currently. But what an exciting journey we've had. So I'm not going to spend too much time. Stuart is a highly entertaining individual, and he's just going to tell you a little bit about AI in the real world and how he's used AI in the real world to further his career. Over to you, Stu.
Awesome, thank you. Morning, everyone. Morning. Is it a lacquer day?
Yeah. Easter liturgy, sir.
Wonderful. What is Easter liturgy?
It's a mass where we just celebrate upcoming Easter.
Amazing. Great. Well, thanks for inviting me here today, Roz, and for being here. It's super cool. As Roz said, I'm Stu Stocks. My company's called Monkey Donkey. Why is it called Monkey Donkey? Well, we're all entering this crazy era where so many things are possible. Incredible things are possible, and maybe, just maybe, a monkey donkey makes sense in that. So, yeah.
Can you hear the back?
Can you hear the back? Or should I do my acting projection?
You are acting.
Okay. Shout in the back there, it's funny. Okay. I'm looking at you. Okay, good. Okay, so Monkey Donkey. We are essentially an advertising agency and production house. So we come up with ideas and we make ideas and videos and things like that, content. We smash that together. We are humans and we're also robots. We kind of put all those things together. And as Ross said, it's our first birthday on Monday. How exciting! Yay! So all of these images are ones we've created, all these videos and stuff we've created, so you can kind of see the possibilities. I've been in advertising pretty much my whole career. And a couple of years ago, I left traditional advertising because I was like, damn, I had enough. I'm finished. And I went to go and do something else, and then I kind of found my way back to advertising in a different form. Because I discovered, as Ross said, AI and these incredible creative tools that enable us to do these incredible amazing things. And it gave me this complete new creative awakening, because suddenly I could take my creativity and augment it with these amazing tools and become this like, wow, all these cool things and do stuff. So yes, there's us, our first birthday. Is anyone worried about AI?
There's a lot of people worried about
Okay.
AI.
Tell me why.
I'm mainly worried about AI because I feel in a way that it's still very biased towards the West, and I feel like it perpetuates a lot of like stereotypes and biases that the West already has. And since it has this bias, I don't think AI will probably catch up to the growth of African people and like the proportional growth of our continent, like economically, socially, and I just feel like although AI is evolving at a rapid speed,
Sure.
it's just not evolving with like everything in a sense.
Sure.
And due to the people that program and due to the way that it's rolled out, I don't think AI will be very equal for a lot of people, especially in the country.
Sure. I'll come to you now. So I agree with you. And I think the world is completely unequal as it is. However, part of what my core belief is that more of us should be getting involved. More Africans should be getting involved. More creative people should be getting involved. And using these things and really pushing it. Because right now, as you say, there's bias in these things. But they can be used in different ways. And you can push that, and you can change that bias and use them for your own kind of purposes. So I think that one of the biggest dangers of AI is that we think it's something over there, and it's not part of us, and we shouldn't be involved. We should be involved, because it is here, it is going to change our lives hugely, whether we like it or not. So if we're not part of directing it, then we don't have a say. It's a bit like voting, because obviously voting is happening at the moment. If you're not part of it, then how can you help steer it? Yeah, so you had a hand. Yeah.
My main concern with AI is that it's going to take away the main people's jobs that are involved in creative processing. So writing, even directing sometimes, facial expressions can be completely told by AI. It can make photographs that are either extremely realistic or extremely stylized in a form that can take away jobs from artists that desperately need it, which is already quite a marginalized community, and it's already doing so. It is taking away, people are monopolizing such art and claiming it as their own and using it in a way that is extremely unethical, let's say. So currently my issue is that it's taking away the creative and limiting.
Sure. So I would challenge that slightly, because I agree with you, but I would challenge it slightly in terms of you are 100% we need to use it ethics. Your concern is more around the unethical human use of AI rather than AI itself. Because AI is just a tool. It's just a technology. The humans, the way they use it, is how it's directed, and can it be used for good, and can it be used for bad. And it can definitely and will be used for bad. And there's many things about it that are scary and things to worry about. But on the other side, there are many positive ways to use it as well. So we made this video to talk about technology. Yes?
Sorry, I just want to add something to that. To the question, are you afraid of AI? I would say I'm a little bit afraid of AI.
Yeah.
I'm admitting it now. Mainly because in previous years we created, we tweaked a little bit and presented. Now with AI, we give it a prompt, whatever it creates. So our mentality is now changing from creating this to editing this to seeing where's the faults and taking a change in direction of our train of thought. So instead of just, hey, let's create a video, stupid example, we use AI to create a video. Now we're scrutinizing our own work and seeing, this is where the fault is, this is what we need to change. So we're changing the roles and we're changing the way we're thinking of creating content.
Sure.
So that's.
So I also agree with you. But again, I would raise the question of how do you use these tools? You can go on to ChatGPT and get it to write you an ad pretty quickly. You can go into Midjourney and make an image pretty quickly. So in a minute or two, I can make an ad. But what I can almost assure you is it's going to be a very average ad. It's going to be noise. It's going to be very forgettable. If I put nothing into the process is going to spit out this generic piece of rubbish. And if you guys look at the ads today on TV or anywhere, most of them are absolute rubbish. Most of them are wallpaper. I think it's something like 80 or 85% of ads do not even get noticed. Do not even get noticed. So 85% of the money is getting thrown away, which is ridiculous, right? But that's how the industry is. So, and we'll talk about that. But part of the problem of it is it's going to flood us with mediocrity. However, if you engage with it in exciting ways and creative ways, it's going to help you create phenomenal stuff. It's going to augment your creative skills so that you can do amazing things. So let me zip on. So this is because I think our fear of technology has been going on for years and years. Ever since technology's been around, which is when we've been around in various forms, we've been scared of and worried about technology. march of technology cannot be stopped. It's proved itself time and time again throughout our times. Here, when the camera came out in the 1800s, people were saying exactly like you said. Artists were going, this is disgusting. All it does is just captures the thing. It's taking away from art. And I'm not saying there's not art being stolen. There definitely is, and there are completely unethical people using these tools unethically and stealing things. Definitely. But there are people also who are creating amazing things. So, as I said, the camera obviously has become an amazing art form. Now, when people have used for all kinds of things, and if you look at photography, it's a wide, huge art form that you could do incredible, incredible things. Whereas when it came out, people were like, well, all it does is go click and it captures this thing. But of course, it's more than that. If you go back to the Luddite movement, when the looms came in, so the first big weaving things, right? There was this movement called the Luddites, and they hated this new technology because it was taking away jobs. So they smashed the looms. The looms came on board, they did their things, and now we all have these outfits and things like that because of the automation of technology and of weaving. So, for me, the technology is there. It is going to increase, I think you said it, so fast, and it is every week going faster and faster and faster. It's going to change our lives, and it is changing our lives. So how can we use it, and how can we be sure we are ahead? So we've got these weirdos, we've got humans, right? It's a bunch of humans doing all kinds of things, but creative humans, and they're really, really important. We've got the bots, of course, and then how do we tie these things together? And I think this thought around the bots being, AI being the sentient thing. We've all seen movies like Terminator 2, the robots are going to become sentient and take over. It might happen, that's somewhere down the line, but it's not going to happen now. And they definitely aren't sentient. But maybe we can flip that script on kind of what they're about, what they're like. And do kind of cool creative stuff. But the most important thing in the mix is you. It's not the bots. What you bring to this process is the most important thing by far. It's a little bit like what I talked about just now. You can push a button and make stuff, but it's going to be average. If you get ChatGPT to do your homework for you, you're going to ultimately be left being, well, yeah, you're not going to be thinking for yourself. However, if you use ChatGPT as a tutor who can really help you, that's amazing, right? And will help you think in completely different ways. It's how we use these tools. And if we as creative humans team up with these bots, we can do the most impossible things. And that's been my experience. You talked about bias within these tools. If you just prompt a person, right? In fact, often what I do is I'll just go test, okay? It will, just because I want to see if it's online, and I'll just write test with Midjourney. Most times it shows me a pretty white woman, okay? Because that's what it's kind of defaulted. But you don't have to make a pretty white woman. There's nothing wrong with making a pretty white woman, but you don't have to make that, right? It is my choice as the user of that tool to push it and change it how I want to do, right? So for instance, this is some imagery created for Ford, okay? Never before in advertising have we been able to show target markets more truly and represent people more. If we push the tool right. So these are different South Africans, you will recognize these people. from different parts of South Africa, or different pieces of South Africa, right? If we wanted to do this before, we had to go and find those people, photograph those people, get the usage rights for all of those people. It's very expensive, right? And a client wouldn't do that. They would probably then just default to one person, which is obviously going to represent a certain group. So how do you represent more people? You use these tools to represent more people. Now you can market to specific people, which is quite exciting. And you can talk to them in different ways. And you can see how you can show this is for in Thailand.
So Stu, all these images are AI generated.
Correct. Everything you see in this presentation is. Right. These are not photos. And again, if you just go click and push a button, it's probably going to be average. If you work with it, if you process through the thing, you're going to end up with something creative and cool. So I want to talk about a project we recently did for Audi. They've got a special edition, a bunch of special edition cars coming out. And they asked us to create some imagery for their ads as well as a video to represent this special edition life. Okay? So we were like, okay, well, if you're the kind of person who a normal Audi is just not good enough for you, you need a special edition Audi. Then maybe like a normal handbag's not cool enough for you, you need a special edition handbag. Or your couch needs to be a special, fancy designer couch, not just a normal couch. Okay? And we thought, wouldn't it be quite cool to be able to create these amazing designer items from the shapes of the vehicles? Because we looked at the cars and we were like, wow, there's so many incredible shapes within an Audi when they design them, right? You look at the front grille, it looks like a honeycomb. So you can see these shapes here. Like, those are cool, interesting shapes, right? Look at this front, I don't even know what this thing is called, on the front of a car, that bit there, okay? There's this weird shape, which is also, if someone's good at math, they probably have a name for that shape. And, you know what it is? Is it a rhomboid?
Four sides, 1, 2, that's 5 sides.
5 sides. We're going to move on, guys. My maths is not my strong suit. Okay. But anyway, it's a cool shape. You look at the rim. This is an interesting shape, right? So that front grille, that honeycomb grille, what if we could create? What would a designer lady's shirt look like if it was the front grille? So this is imagery we created. So, and part of the process was to create the style and then to feed it these shapes to kind of bring those shapes up, simplify those shapes, and then bring them into it. So, if a shirt was a designer top made from that had the kind of echo of the grille, what would it look like? If there's a handbag, right, that looked like the grille, what would that look like? And you can see these shapes coming through in various different things. Right? And that shape is from the wheel, so the rim.
So, Stu, how long did this program take? I mean, this is a lot of chatting to,
Absolutely.
this was in Midjourney that you did this?
Combo, but mostly Midjourney. And often an image that we will create will take hundreds of prompts and different approaches. Prompting process should be a creative and thinking process, not simply a push a button process. You can do that, but you're going to end up with something. So let me show you the video. This was like the teaser video.
It begins with a vision, a tapestry of inspiration, a dynamic blend of elegance and ambition. Designed for the discerning. Crafted for the bold. Inspired by the progressive. A range of special edition models. Curated for those who don't just seek to exist, but to express. Every acute angle, each flowing curve, a testament to your nature. Merging style with cutting-edge mobility. A synergy of sophistication and performance. To drive one is to announce your presence. This is our vision of progress. Introducing a curated collection inspired by Audi.
And it's a fun process, right? We could never have done that before, which is what is really exciting for me. Where can you push it creatively that you couldn't before? Samsung is another project we worked on last year. Flip phone, right? Does anyone have a flip phone?
Yes or no?
Does anybody have the Samsung?
So there was a bunch of stuff we did for this, but I want to show you specifically a video we did for Joburg Day, which is a concert, right? And part of what the cool thing about this phone is it can sit anywhere, right? And you can put it anywhere and you do a little wave and it takes a selfie. So what we wanted to do was to show lots of consumers, and this goes back to the inclusion. You will see hundreds and hundreds of different consumers taking selfies. This is just a minute of the 5-minute video. And from these different angles, right? It feels like they've been taken from different angles. We can represent all kinds of people. So these are, ooh, it's quite cool. Yeah, this is a concept somewhere, right? Massive screen, 18 meters, another big screen on that side, another 3. It was really exciting. They had fire and all kinds of stuff. So we were like, look at our pictures, don't we? Okay, so this is this. Also, the entire campaign had a very specific style. It was kind of the fashion of Y2K. So there was a very specific aesthetic and color and things to it. Ah! Does anyone know what Y2K is?
You weren't even born!
So, Y2K is back, of course. You will know in the fashion. It's the Y2K fashion around the 2000s is back. And the colors are there. And that was part of their whole thing globally. And then we looked at local, what was the local fashion doing? What were people wearing? So, yeah. Together tons of images, animating them, because you could do slight variations on images, you can get that kind of animated feel.
There's a fish.
Yes? So mostly for image generation, we'll use Midjourney. And I love Midjourney, and we decided when we started to do this business that was going to be our tool that we're going to use. There's a ton of image generation tools, as you probably know. We chose Midjourney because we feel it's the best. It is always evolving. The others, in my opinion, are always trying to catch up. But part of the problem is there's like 1,000 to choose from. So you've got to choose one and get to know it. So Midjourney is mostly what we use. But of course, something like this is image generation, and then the editing part of it is really crucial. So my partner is an editor, and she is able to pull this together with the music to make it a very compelling video.
Because you didn't use moving images there.
Correct.
It was all still
This
images.
was all still images.
Cleverly edited.
Yeah. Yes.
I wanted to ask, does Midjourney allow you to use the images generated for commercial purposes to give you the rights to them?
Yes. So good point, and obviously the rights discussion is a big one. So yes, it does, as long as you are on one of their paid subscriptions. If you're using the free one, you don't have the rights. But it's a huge discussion. And again, going back to the ethics that someone brought up before, we are very careful in how we create our images. So a couple of things. One, we will never reference another artist. So I'm using Picasso as an example. Picasso, he's obviously super famous, and he's got a very distinct style. Okay? I could say, do this picture and make it look like and use his name, and it will give me that specific style. In my books, that's stealing from him, because he's developed that style. Because of course he's an icon, but there's a ton of other artists who are also, you can reference and you can steal their style. I think that's unethical. Secondly, you can prompt using text and you can prompt using images. And normally what we do is a combination of those things. But what we don't do is ever use images that belong to someone else. So, say you've taken a photograph and I go onto the internet and just take a photograph. I can do that, but it's unethical because the photograph belongs to you, depending on things. So we don't do that. We only use photographs that either that we own in some way, whether we've taken them or bought them or the client owns. Then we also create our images on our private server and in stealth mode so that others can't kind of see it or steal it. But the ethics side of things is a crucial one, and this is an ever-evolving story. Does that answer your question? Great.
I just like that point, and that's to reiterate that I've been trying to challenge some of you artists who are more concerned about this. If they use photographs, it's photographs that they've taken and they've taken, artwork that they've done and taken, and not referencing other artists. And then I think that's a good way to work with this tool ethically. That's a really important point.
Absolutely. So, for instance, in Audi, to get that specific style of all the photographs, we go through a process first of developing the style. So you could potentially go, hey, reference this photographer, and you get the style. But that's stealing their style. So what we'll do is we'll prompt it through and direct the lighting, direct the composition, all of those things, the colors, etc., to create the style. Once we've then developed the style, then we go and we use, okay, now that we've got the style, let's make whatever image and start. Okay. Are there impossible things? This is, how are you for time?
It's up to you, Stu.
Okay.
Probably okay.
Okay, cool. VW sponsor youth football. And what's quite cool about it is they do these tournaments where people go play soccer, but they also learn life skills, which is cool. Obviously you learn soccer skills, so maybe one day you're going to be a soccer player, and some of the people who have gone through these things are professional soccer players. But you also learn these other skills, so there's all these options open for you. It opens more possibilities. So what we did is we talked to 4 people, I think we made 4 of these, I'm going to show you one of them. And this guy now is a professional soccer player. And we chatted to him and said, okay, well, tell us a bit about your life. When did you start playing soccer? And what did you always want to be? I always wanted to be a soccer player. Okay, cool. Who do you want to play for? Okay, I play for SuperSport. I'd love to play for Everton one day. Amazing. If you weren't going to be a soccer player, what would you have liked to be? I'd love to be a pilot. So we talked about this pilot thing. He also wants to get married. He wants to have kids. He wants to be a grandfather. All these different dreams and possibilities that potentially have been unlocked or could have been unlocked through this process of this of development football. And VW asked us to make some videos for this for social media. So what we did is we took an image, we took the photograph of this guy, and then we basically showed his life in a number of different ways or different possibilities, right? And we said, with VW, anything is possible if you unlock these possibilities. So you'll see again, we've created multiple images here and created this animated style. So it's a whole lot of stills. Let me show you. So you could dream of any future, and there was Neo as a 70-year-old man with grandkids, and he looked at this and was like, "Wow, look at my car," which was quite cool. And again, these things weren't possible before. You couldn't do that. I'm going to finish off with this. Does anyone know what Stoicism is? Stoicism. Yes.
Stoicism is a belief that, or at least I'm going to apply this in a masculine term, is the belief that a man should be stoic, which is to show no emotion as to gain an advantage over it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. That's, I wouldn't say it like that. At its core, it's a belief system on life or how to live as a person. It's often a male thing, but it's not a male thing. At its core, it's about controlling what you can in life and not worrying about what you can't control. Also, there's a few kind of basic principles. One of them is memento mori. Memento mori basically means remember your mortality. You are going to die. I am going to die. We don't know when that is. It could be years down the line, and it could be tomorrow. And that could be very scary for you. Oh gosh, I'm going to die. Oh, I'm worried. Or it could be liberating. If I'm going to die tomorrow, then what am I doing today that I really want to be doing? Because you really could die tomorrow. So, are you here today, right now, doing what you want to do? And this thought that death is so close at all times can be super liberating. Because, hey, let me live my life like I have borrowed time. And that, for me, is really exciting and part of the way of living life is going, did I want to come here and talk today? Yes. My good old friend asked me, but also I wanted to meet you guys. So that's cool. I'm not doing what I don't want to do today. So we made this video just to test out a few things, but it was the basic thought of life and death are so close together. Life is beautiful, partly because death is so close, because you see the beauty. You're not going to waste your time.
pretty cool about that is this continuous planning shot,
Yes.
which is very difficult to do in reality.
So this was part of the reason I did this was to test out Midjourney had come with this thing, which is basically pan. So you can add on, so you create an image, add on a bit here, add on a bit here, add on a bit here, add on a bit here. And you can create a super, super wide image, which is exactly what we did here. And then we basically moved the image across the frame and zoomed in at the beginning. So I'm glad you noticed that because it's something which is really powerful with these tools. Is you can add on bits and you can create a big up or a big down or a really big image and zoom into bits and tell your story there, which is really cool. Guys, can we take a photo? Is that enough?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, let's do it. Yes. Okay, who's got questions?
Okay, let's have a couple of questions, otherwise I'm going to nominate you. All right, at the back there.
Is Midjourney free? No. There is a free plan. The problem with the free plans are they tend to be very slow. So what happens is these things run on a massive computer over there somewhere, and they essentially, you buy time on the computer to run it, because our computers, even mine, can't run the program. So yes, there is, but I find it very slow. But check it out. There's even the most cost-effective one. You'll notice a big.
I think for your purposes it's okay.
Yeah.
For your purposes you want
Perhaps,
something faster.
perhaps. Give it a, but absolutely go and check it out. Okay. Yes. Go. Go for it. One of you. Anyone? Yes.
We're above 50. We are going slightly deaf.
Slightly different.
With the subscriptions,
Yes.
is the most expensive one? Does the most expensive one have increased quality or
So
just the quality difference?
no. You can, so if you buy the cheapest one, you'll get the quality is all there. It's how fast it is and how much you do it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we're back at you.
So you said that you went from
Voice.
dramas to going into advertising.
Yes.
What was the switch? Was it quite a drastic change?
I was cast in an advert in my final year as a drag queen, which was quite fun. And I was on the set shooting the ad, and I got to talking to the copywriter. And I didn't know exactly what copywriting was. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And so I wrote this copy test, and yeah, that's how I got into advertising. Because they said, oh, please come bring it to our creative director. And I dressed up like a pizza delivery guy, and I pretended it was a pizza. And I went, hey man. It's like, I recognize you. You're the drag queen. I was like, that's me. And I had my copy test, and then I was offered the job in there. So I was doing script writing already, and then I became a copywriter. So there was sort of a link, but yeah, I was in an ad, and then I thought it sounds
So Stuart's always been like a super creative. He's an ideas guy, he's a creative generator, so to speak.
But don't you think people will come to a certain point when they see that AI alone are able to do these things even better? Because as people, our ideas are kind of flawed. Because as people are kind of flawed.
We are cool, though. I absolutely agree with you. So it's so interesting as to where is this thing going, and I don't know where it's going. The world of AI, first, is such a huge thing that encompasses many different technologies. I use a small part of it. are they going to replace us? There's two views essentially on where this is going to take us. And one is a dystopian view, and one is a utopian. On the one hand, the computers are going to take over, they're going to turn us into their slaves, and there's going to be this terrible future. And you've seen many movies. Right? That is a possibility. On the other side, there's this utopian view that the computers are going to take away all the other tasks so that we are free to be creative humans who can prosper. And there's going to be this massive prosperity on them. Personally, I think both are not probably true. There's probably going to be both of those things. And that's what we are flawed as humans. There's going to be bad humans using these things for bad purposes. There's going to be good humans using it for good purposes. And where it's going to go is a good question.
But I think also currently we need to program the AI. AI isn't creative yet.
Absolutely.
It isn't. We are the ones that create the creativity. So it's the ideas, our ideas that are programming AI. Well, we don't know where it's going to go. But currently, we are the creative beings. So that's where we definitely get to be.
And I think part of these futures, these possible futures, part of the future, exactly like your own future, is not just going to happen to you. You are a key person or driver in your future. And we are all, as humans, the key drivers in our collective future. So we need to be involved. Yes.
So another big fear that I've been hearing about AI is the fact that it's taking away jobs. For an example, that Audi ad you did, it would have required a graphic designer and an artist had AI not been there.
Yes.
So I wanted to hear how you would address the issue of AI taking away people's jobs.
So my thinking on that is that technology has taken away jobs forever. The fact that we all came here today in a car, or probably came here in a car, means that a horse-drawn carriage didn't bring us. So the people who used to make horse-drawn carriages didn't have a job. The people who fixed wheels of horse-drawn carriages don't have a job. A horse, whoever cared for the horse, doesn't have a job. Feeding that horse, all of those things, and I'm using that's a silly example, but cars are so pervasive in our world today. And they've taken away jobs. The job market changes. And I would say you have to change. You cannot think that if something is true today, it's going to be true tomorrow.
Especially in I mean, if I think just the last 15 years since the invention of cell phone, we've experienced it throughout history. We're the last generation that's had one foot in when technology wasn't around. When we were children, we did not have cell phones. We've got one foot in that world and one foot in the current world. So we've seen a dramatic shift. And just the use of that cell phone and how we think and how you guys think is dramatic. So if we are not equipping you guys now to be flexible, to be responsive to your environment, to be changeable, to have a growth mindset, then we're not preparing you for the future.
I think added to that, it's not just a case of sort yourself out. It's also part of our responsibility to help people shift. So we've got 2 interns. We are helping to train up in these tools to shift. I myself have shifted from not using these tools to using these tools, to making myself employable in the future.
And those 2 interns, that job wasn't there before.
100%.
So it's a new kind of career.
But it is a concern, and we need to think about it as industries, depending on what industry it's going. How do we shift? What I don't agree with is because there's jobs today and I'm doing X, therefore I must continue to do that. It's simply not true. Things change, so you have to change with them and keep yourself going.
You know, the current millennial, or maybe the Gen Zs, the older Gen Zs, by the time they hit 35, they've hatched 2 or 3 careers already. You know, there's a lot of diversification. And there's a trend that's starting to develop where people are not just a doctor. They will be a doctor, an entrepreneur, and an actor. And this need to diversify within your career is becoming more and more of a trend. So no longer are you just a career teacher for the rest of your life. You have this ability to shift and change as you grow. So that's why this attitude of being a lifelong learner is really important. I know you guys are gunning for to get to the end of the trick, and you're going to be free, and you're going to be, you don't have to study anymore. You will constantly learn, and especially in our current environment, where things do change so rapidly, we are constantly learning, constantly changing. Felix.
So, I was just wondering, how many people would you say on average work on one ad in your
Traditionally.
So this Audi job, for instance. So it was a combination of, from our company, five, from the agency, 6 or 7, from the client, I don't know, 5 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would just like to, you said if going to Midjourney and say for an ad,
Yep.
do this in the style of Picasso, you liken that to theft of his style or creative work. If I make something myself painted in the style of Picasso, would you still consider that to be theft of his design?
So it's a very interesting question. So part of the way that these tools work is exactly how humans learn. So what Midjourney doesn't do is it doesn't have a bank of a ton of millions of images. It doesn't go, okay, I'm going to draw a picture, or make a picture of a man standing smiling. Okay? It doesn't cut out eyes from this man, a nose from this man. It doesn't create a collage, right? It knows what a man smiling at the camera looks like, and it creates it completely anew. The same with humans. You go, I know what a Picasso is, and I'm going to draw my painting, right? Would I consider it theft? No, I wouldn't. Would I consider it being creative? Probably not. Or trying to, there's nothing wrong with learning styles and learning from styles, incorporating styles. As humans, we don't create something completely in this void of other things don't exist. We learn about all these things, and amazing, what has Picasso done? Wow, what can I learn from this incredible artist? And incorporate that into my approach. But if you're just going to copy a Picasso painting, what's ultimately the point, really? I don't know, does that answer the question?
So can I ask a follow-up question?
Please.
I spend 300 hours to make my own image generating AI,
Yes.
completely from the ground up, and then I prompt it to make exactly what I want, and it's in the style of someone else.
Yep.
I don't know what they are, never seen it, it just happens to be in their style. Well, would you consider that to be theft?
No, I wouldn't. Because it's amazing how ideas come to life at the same time. I'm working over here, someone else is working over there. We have the same idea. You see it time and time again in advertising awards. So the biggest ad awards is the Cannes Awards in France, right? You go there, I judged it a few years back, you go there and you see the same idea from different parts of the world. Did they copy each other? Possibly. But more likely is there's a zeitgeist going on and there's certain trends happening. And people are probably reading many of the same things. And ultimately those, and have similar challenges in different markets. So, and you'll have 4 or 5 or 6 different ideas that are kind of the same. No, I wouldn't call it theft. I would say you're just doing your thing. But it is interesting how things pop up. There was also it's an old thoughts around where ideas come from. And it was, I can't remember where it was, but the thinking at the time was that thoughts, ideas are not actually part of us, they are out there. And they come and they tap on our head and they go, ooh, you must tell me, must bring me to life. And if you as a creative don't, that idea after a while goes, hey, you must bring me to life. And it's an interesting thought that this ideas are these separate things that want to get made, that want to get created, right? So yeah, maybe there's multiple ideas out there just going, woo, let's get made. So no, I wouldn't say that. Okay. Yes.
Are there ever times where when you're using AI to generate an image where it doesn't really give you exactly what you're looking for?
All the time. It's a very frustrating process. Yes. It's a very tough process. So, and that's why and that's part of the excitement of it. Part of the frustration, absolutely. And also part of the skill and art of it is there's this beast over there that is trying to communicate with it. How do you communicate with it and get it to do what you want? It's tough, and often you have to try to take different approaches to things.
Just like when you collaborate with each other and your collaborators aren't understanding you or not delivering what you want to in your groups, it's the same thing.
Yes.
And that's kind of what Stu and Sue are doing. They are using AI as a collaborator.
Absolutely.
And AI is the third person in their company.